Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to another beautiful day. I am out walking the Queen's Way, processing out loud in hopes that it will help somebody else. My name's Carrie Miller, Master Coach, helping women emotional overeaters heal their emotional eating so that they can lose weight. And I want to talk today a little bit about judgment, and specifically about self-judgment. And it's something that's been coming up quite significantly for myself lately as I'm working through other symptoms of feeling stuck. And for me, that's procrastination and perfectionism. And with the procrastination and the perfectionism comes along judgment. And I've been really contemplating that lately, and how much I actually really do it, and not even realizing it. It's such an ingrained habit. I do it unconsciously, and realizing that it's actually kept me as part of the walls of the box I built for myself with procrastination and perfectionism. It's almost the foundation to the walls. If judgment were the foundation, procrastination and perfectionism are part of the walls. And I feel like judgment is what drives the perfectionism, because having to judge myself for things not being good enough or living up to standards can't happen if I'm not judging myself. And I think for me, maybe you can say this is true for yourself as well, that I learned how to be so harshly judgmental with myself from my mom. And I'm not criticizing my mom. I love my mother. She did the best she could with what she had when she was raising her children. I had a very good childhood. And she could say the same thing about her mom, and so on and so forth. And with all of the work that I've been doing, all of the self-growth work that I've been doing, I can see the deeper layer of the foundation from the judgment and how it has kept me stuck. And the standards of perfectionism that I've been trying to live up to, I've actually learned from my mom. Again, no judgment against my mom. I actually wouldn't have been able to get to where I am without those standards and the judgment and the perfectionism. It has all built me to who I am now. So maybe you'll see yourself in some of this. Does any of this resonate with you? The ways that I judge myself. I judge the way I look. I should look a specific way, a different way. So then I resist looking at myself in the mirror or in reflections. And for me, I think that's one of the most prevalent ones, is believing that I should look different. I should have better arms. My skin should be different. My eyes should be different. They should be farther apart. They shouldn't look like sad puppy dog eyes. They should be this, anything about myself that I find lacking should be something other than what it is. And that's part of the problem, is the resistance to what is. Other ways that I judge myself is not saying something perfectly to somebody. I should have said it differently. I shouldn't have said it at all. Why didn't I speak up there? I regret not saying anything. I create this double bind with myself in so many ways with the judgment and the perfectionism that I can't live life how I perceive I should be living life because I've double binded myself because I can't live any other way. I can't do what I want to do because judgment and perfectionism is stopping me. But yet I live in perfectionism and judgment where I don't want to be, and it keeps me stuck there. I hope that made sense. Other ways I judge myself. I judge how I write copy for my emails and my social posts and my websites and landing pages. It's not good enough. It's not right. It doesn't land. I didn't get enough interaction or any interaction or whatever the thought is. And it all means something about me as a person, as a soul, as a whole. It means I am wrong. So that makes me resist wanting to do it again. I guilt and shame myself as part of the judgment because it wasn't perfect enough for someone to interact with, to comment on, to respond to. And it's actually not the case. It, part of the resistance of the all of the stuckness that we feel all comes down to the resistance of what is. And what you make it mean about you. What I make it mean about me. And when someone, or the world, let's say, doesn't respond to, react, engage with what we put out in a certain way, time frame, or at all, we take it in and we make it mean something about us and who we are as a being, as a soul. And even though I can consciously say and remind myself that's not the case at all, unconsciously, I don't believe it. And that's part of the shame identity leading to the perfectionism, because I have to be perfect and do everything perfect so that people will love me. And is that true? Can I absolutely know that's true, that I have to be perfect? I can't say that. I cannot absolutely know that. There is no way to absolutely know that. And what is perfect? There is nothing that is absolutely 100% perfect, or a person. So how can I strive to be perfect when it doesn't exist? Because perfect is what is. Perfect is what happened and how it happened in the moment. Other ways I find that I judge myself. If I'm in a group of people, let's say on Zoom, and I have a response to someone's question or their statement, and I start typing it in, I second guess and question what I'm going to respond with. And then I think nobody's going to want to hear what I have to say. It's going to be wrong anyway, so I'm just going to delete it and not say anything at all. I judge myself for my boundaries. I judge myself for not sticking up for myself. I judge myself in every way, shape, and form. Consciously, unconsciously. Overthink. I judge myself for overthinking and second guessing. But then I second guess myself for judging myself. Do you see the double bind? Do you see how it creates a prison that you can't get out of? How do I get out of it? I start with awareness. I am aware that I am judging myself. Who would I be? How can I be without judging myself so harshly. And you can't not judge. We judge everything every day, in every single second of what we do, say, of every way of being. We judge how cold out it is so that we know if we have to put a jacket on. We judge how hot it is out so that we know what layers to take off. How can you become more aware of when you judge yourself? How does it feel in your body? When I start judging myself, I start to feel the heaviness come down from my shoulders into my chest. And my heart starts to constrict a little bit. And then I start to feel like I go into overwhelm. This is too much. I need to shut down. I want to shrink and run away. Or sometimes it's I want to shrink and fawn, or freeze. If I'm in the picture in my head when I said that is when I'm on a Zoom call with a group of people and I'm starting to type a message or a comment in the chat, I freeze. I second guess. I delete. And then I don't engage, maybe for the rest of the call or for a few minutes or until something comes up that I know that I'm 100% on, that if I said something it would be okay because people won't judge me. So I'm judging other people about judging me. So I get to practice becoming more aware of all of the times that I judge myself and how I'm judging myself. And then ask myself, if I really want to do the thing, how can I do it in a way that feels comfortable for me? If I want to comment on something in a Zoom meeting, I just get to comment. And whether people like it or not, or accept it or not, ignore it, respond, do anything, doesn't mean anything about me. And I get to practice reminding myself that. So I want you to become aware. Start practicing when you feel like you're judging yourself. How does it feel? Stop and notice. Become aware. How does it feel in your body? What are the thoughts that you're having that's creating the behavior of judging? And how is it driving the sensations, the feelings in your body? And what would be a more compassionate, loving response that you could have to move yourself out of that judgment? I get to practice being aware of the judgment, thanking the judgment for being there, and telling the judgment, I no longer need your help so harshly. And then tell myself something more kinder, telling myself something more kind, more compassionate, more loving in the moment. And then, if I so choose, I get to take that action. And maybe that's part of the decision of the awareness and being kinder to myself, is I don't have to take an action if I don't choose, because maybe that's all I need in that moment is to be aware. And I get to take note. And then the next time it happens, I become aware faster and I take note. And the more aware we become of the habit of judging ourselves, guilting ourselves, shaming ourselves, the faster we can stop it in its tracks, because when we become aware of it, we have to stop it. In that moment, in that second of becoming aware of judging yourself, it stops. Oh, wait, I just judged myself. Okay. And it absolutely stops in that second. It's a pattern interrupt, because judging yourself, then guilting yourself and shaming yourself has become a pattern. It has become a habit. So we interrupt the habit. And once we start becoming more and more aware of the habit and when we do it and what it feels like in our bodies, we can sense when it's coming, so we can stop it faster and faster and quicker and quicker. And then we can say, What is it that I really want to do right now? How can I move forward in a better, healthier, more compassionate way? And then stop and listen for the answer. And then take action on that answer if you so choose. And I feel like I just keep repeating and repeating and repeating the same thing over and over again. It all boils down to awareness, slowing everything down, and realizing what's really happening in the moment. We live in such a fast-paced world. There's so much coming at us all the time. We don't give ourselves time for the quiet reflection and listening to what's really going on inside, because it's always telling us. All we have to do is listen. And it's a practice. You're not going to be perfect at it the first time. I'm not perfect at it. I'm still practicing it. Just like you practice tying your shoes. You didn't know how to do it the first time you tried it. You had to practice over and over again. Just like playing the piano or any instrument. You have to practice over and over again. We get to practice awareness. We get to practice slowing things down. We get to practice listening to ourselves. We get to practice giving ourselves compassion and love instead of guilt and shame. And look at my little white feather from my mom. I talked about that in a previous episode. I must be on the right track. Thank you, Mom. Oh my goodness. I'm so in awe right now. So I invite you today, start becoming aware of how you judge yourself, when you judge yourself, what it feels like in your body. Can you predict when it starts to come on? And what can you do to give yourself love and compassion in the moment so that you don't have to feel the guilt and shame and shut down or fawn or whatever happens for you when you feel like you're judging yourself. Maybe, just maybe, in that moment when you're reaching for food and you're judging yourself for doing it, you can stop and be aware of what's going on and just sit in compassion for 5 seconds. And then your choice is either to continue to eat or to stop. You get to decide. And that's where your sovereignty lies. As always, my beautiful souls, live radiantly and stay true to you. I love you.